That's not the plan.
Yo, Real 92.3, Bootleg Kev here. James is here.
Come on now.
What
What's up,
James?
What up, James? How you feeling, man?
Hey, man, I'm just excited because we got, in my opinion, I think you might be the, well, first of all, you're the greatest of all time when it comes to just hip-hop journalism.
Thank you, sir.
But I also would like to point out that I truly believe that in the last 7 or 8 years, you have the best, you and B-Dot have the best interviews, like, period.
I appreciate that.
When you guys
Bootleg
drop,
Kev.
it matters, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Like, I know y'all ain't doing like the hype, but when y'all drop, it matters.
Absolutely. I feel there's pressure on us now with these interviews, man. It's almost like when we do a great interview, it's like, oh, another great interview. It's just like, yo, that's not easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the Tyler, we're very proud of, right? But, you know, that doesn't mean that Jay-Z wasn't great or Drake wasn't great or Will Smith or Nipsey Hussle. Like,
right.
But, you know, now we feel that pressure to kind of have that quality interview that kind of adds to that.
I feel like the interviews you guys are doing are like helping kind of add to the legacy of a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and building the catalog, because I think so much of our thing, I think you do that obviously, which what you do, it's like you want to build a catalog. You want something that still has value. You don't want the cookie cutter shit. We want to create great content that people can go back years later and still draw from. And like, you know how it is now when these kids rip your shit and put it in reels and they take pieces of it. I'm proud when my shit pops up. I'm like, oh, that's one of mine. Like, and I'll put the hashtag in it because kids won't know. They'll do the crazy zoom where you don't even see me and shit. Like, what's
you'll
my
be like,
shit?
hey, I'll throw my hashtag down there.
That was my Young Dolph interview. That was me.
The Tyler, I said the Tyler interview is, first of all, the interview of the year.
Thank you, brother.
And I don't know, I feel like I saw this complex list that came out that I wasn't on, but I feel like it's crazy.
You should have been on that list, as Rory said. Obviously, you should have been on that list.
I feel like you guys are, I mean, you got to be top 3. I mean, you, listen,
hey, man.
This year alone, we got Jay-Z.
Yep.
Tyler, go through it, because I saw you.
I did Nas GQ. I was at his garden show.
Just
first to meet Nas. Thank you, brother.
It's just
I think that Tyler's the best interview so far this year in hip hop. And I think, look, Homeboy switched the style up. He went bad again, YoungBoy. But that's the biggest interview. That's 2.2 million.
I think the NBA YoungBoy interview, because he's back on his bullshit.
Yeah.
But I do think that was one of the more, like, if we think about the last 10 years, numbers-wise, you guys got to speak to him in a way that nobody else really has.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was crazy. I was telling people, like, you know, he's still under the house arrest. We could only have, like, 3 people in the house at one time. So it's literally, like, finally permission for me and B-Dot and the camera guy to come in. And we walk in, and he's, like, behind the door. He's like, how you gentlemen doing? I was like
so you walk in there, this is in Utah, right?
Yeah, Utah. This is like the snowiest Jack Nicholson Shining type thing going on. And then we sat down. It was us cameras, it was like awkward silence, and then you know we got to it, and you kind of hear how awkward it is in the beginning.
No, and then he warmed up to you guys.
Warms up to us, and that's really what happened. And then the camera guy left, and then the photographer Kenya, she came in, and sip. No more than 3 people could be in the house for the federal rules of the law. In his house at one time in that area to do the interview, so we had to be on point.
I was gonna say for you guys, like I mean, obviously, YoungBoy is like I always say, it ain't for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's for a lot of people.
My nephew's one of them, Hunter. Yeah, like,
100%, right?
I'll find a couple joints for him, but I can't say I was the biggest fan. But I wasn't fronting like we were. It's almost like, but we were like, yo, but dude, I want to understand him more. And I think he's very conflicted. I think that you see a side of who he is in our interview, and then you see his other side. And I think he's trying to not, you know, he knows the dangers of going that way, but I think that if he gets angered, he goes that way. So I think it gives more insight to who these people really are, like who these artists are. So that was what the challenge was there. We wasn't coming in there like we're the biggest NBA YoungBoy fans. We have to document how dope he is. It was more like this is a crazy story about one of the most impactful, influential young artists in the game. Doesn't get his respect, and the numbers deserve him being in those conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's go to.
We overlook him a lot, for sure.
We overlook him all the time, but the fans don't. You know?
I was gonna say, you've had so many eras. We can go back to Ego Trip, to the YN era, Double XL.
I'll give you the exclusive. I think we're working on some type of Ego Trip book to sort of like.
I have the book of rap list at my house.
No, the book of all the magazines we did.
Oh, okay,
There's 13 magazines we did. Like collectors of them have them, but there's an editor, Dana Albarella James. She's trying to put together a whole compilation kind of that to show people where it came from. Like those 13 magazines we put together, like some of the best articles, and you know, so we're all going to be together. Gives people insight because that's the foundation of my career.
For sure.
Independent magazine I did called Ego Trip.
Which again, I got the book of rap list at my crib right now on my shelf. You kind of taking the source off the top of the mountain during that Double XL era.
You don't have to do kinda and mighta. See, we do these modifiers. You like Bootleg Kev. You like controversial statements. Say I did, yes, I did. Or did, and you had them. He might be one of the greatest. Well, if I'm not, who is? Or just say I'm one of the greatest.
Well, you had them.
Don't say kinda.
Well, you
have to stop talking with modifiers. We all do that.
You had them selling Eminem CDs to try to. you remember that issue with the little plastic?
I just saw Kim Osorio. It's all love. BT, she's the queen.
But I guess I wanted to ask you, like that was a pretty intense era of like hip hop journalism, right? But what was that like going up against them? And then I think on my set I have the 50 Dre Eminem cover framed. Because that is to me like...
Well, that was the same week, the same month they had Ja Rule on the cover, and there's a poster inside of a guy breaking me in half and then cutting Eminem's head off. So, I mean, it was crazy, man. It was like, you know... And then you had Hip Hop Police also following all of us, too. So that's what made it exciting,
The Hip Hop Police were following you guys.
Yeah, like they would police dossiers, and everybody related to the culture was in the files. And, they, you know, they tried to press me about... And thankfully, I didn't know anything to not tell them about anybody's thing. So I didn't have to snitch because I actually didn't know anything. But, you know, they watched all of us. Like, if we were affiliated with these artists at the time and the controversy, I had a file, 50 had a file, Benzino had a file, everybody had a file. So it was like, you also had to realize that was going to time. I always say my block was the most hectic block because they built 4040 Club was connected to the XXL building when they built it. When they built that shit, I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that's insane. The club's attached
when they built that, I was so mad. I left half day. I was pissed. I was
like man, the block is hot over here.
The block is hot.
Hip Hop Police are going to be waiting outside of 4040 Club. They're going to see me coming down.
This is how hot the block is. Violator Henchman.
Oh, man.
Same block. So Violator Henchman, 4040 Club, and Double XL. Same block.
Crazy. I feel like we've had not the best year so far in terms of...
Yeah, we're not #1 yet, right?
We haven't had... And I also just feel like, in general, like, there hasn't been...
I like you because you be on hip-hop's ass, too. Like, you're that type of
Listen, my favorite album of the year is Killer Mike, and I love the Estate Sale shit. Those are the two for me right now, right?
Those are good.
But it has been a really light year. What's your album of the year in middle of 2023?
I wouldn't say album of the year, but I like those two you mentioned.
Favorite.
I also like Gunna's album. I also like...
Do you like the Gunna album?
I like the Gunna album.
Okay.
I like the Currency, Jermaine Dupri project, the EP.
Larry June Alchemist album
Larry June Alchemist is good.
Yeah.
I got a good solid like top 5 to 7 that I like. I'm not picking #1 yet, but I do think some big dogs are coming. Obviously, Drake's coming, as we see now with his little book poetry scavenger hunt he created. He hasn't officially announced it, but it seems like an album's coming.
I was gonna say like every year B-Dot drops his list, and then I usually drop a list right after to like be like. You
gotta do that. It's important.
But I know like you guys. When you guys drop a Rap Radar interview or podcast, it's always an interview. I feel like once a year you should be on his ass for like an hour going over that list.
Tell him there's more money we can get, man. Tell him we can generate more bags, man. We got to, create. We could do some lifestyle.
Wait, I see top 5 dead or alive.
Show everything, man.
Jada,
you know what I'm saying? Jada's coming. He's on deck. He's on
next.
deck.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, Elliott.
Kiss is here.
Can we please do the long?
I gotta go. Kiss is here.
Can we do the long form?
Rapper, man.
We gotta do the long form, brother.
These guys.
Yeah. Hey, man, I appreciate your time, brother.
Love.
Appreciate you. Yeah.